In one sense, I feel like I've already died. You know, there's 4 or 5 days of my life that are unaccounted for. I just came to this realization that I couldn't feel my legs. And I mean, as I recall, this might be a little sketchy, but I was fine with that, you know? Like, okay, this is just life part 2 here, you know? Every morning when I get up, I look at my feet. I just stare at them, and I try to will my toes to move, or will my ankle to go. I often think, what if I saw a flicker, you know?
Probably up on that treadmill over on the left. After today, it'll all be set to him, so today takes a little bit longer. So we have to use the harness with it, but it doesn't mean we have to take much body weight off or anything like that. Good. Okay.
It took a long time to even get to the point where we could even have it here.
The electrodes.
I've had people come in here really limited by mobility and have left walking as their primary mobility.
How you feeling?
Good.
Good. All right.
So you have your robot, which is an exoskeleton, meaning you wear it obviously outside your body. HAL, it stands for hybrid assistive limb. And basically, a person with a spinal cord injury has to have some sort of bioelectrical signal still getting through from their brain to their spinal cord to their lower extremities. As long as they still have a little bit of a signal coming through, the device actually uses some electrodes which perceive that signal and are then able to transform that into ambulation or walking.
If this technology works, I want it to work for my community, you know, the spinal cord injured community, not just me. I realize I could probably dive into, you know, placebo land and expect the results, you know, and maybe see something, but I feel like if I'm neutral, the data and the science guy in me, I want to stay neutral and see what happens, you know, so that's where I'm at now.
I'm really curious what can come of it and what the weeks will hold, you know? I feel pretty hopeful about it. Don't tell him, it's not very scientific to be hopeful. But I am.
We met in eastern Montana when I was 19 and she was 20. She has a spark and a flare that is, yeah, she's unlike anybody else I've ever met. You know, we were always taking advantage of the outdoors and out playing, and it was important for us, especially adventure and that kind of thing was huge. Like, that's a huge piece. It was a priority for us. So wound up bouncing around doing different jobs, always out in the woods, kind of. I was a wildland firefighter for about 3 seasons or so at Glacier Park. And while I was in Alaska, I was involved with a search and rescue group up there called the Alaska Mountain Rescue Group. That was the search and rescue arm of the state troopers. That's kind of been our life, you know, hunting and fishing and doing all the kind of the outdoor scene, you know. We spent some time all over the Southwest, Zion, Bryce, Kings Canyon, Grand Canyon.
Of the Grand Canyon. Whoa. Whoa.
We hiked a good portion of the Pacific Crest Trail, which starts at the Mexican border, and we spent about 4 months hiking every day, 20 miles a day, every day, through some pretty amazing terrain. up Mount Whitney. Mount Whitney's the highest peak in the lower 48. So yeah, we've been a lot of places, done a lot of things. It was a little bit of a freak storm, actually. You know, November in Montana, you know, you can get snow and you can get cold weather. It had been snowing all night and the temperature had dropped pretty low. And that morning I had been called into work. It warmed up, like right as I was going to work, and it was raining. And so there was water on the ground, but the ground was still frozen from the night before. And so I hit a pocket of black ice. My truck went across the road, hit the steep ditch, came to an immediate stop, and then translated to flipping. My truck flipped about 3 times. I was ejected, went about, I don't know, 60 to 100 feet, and was found found in the snow. I had a seatbelt failure. My whole life was my legs, and here I'm laying in a hospital bed, you know, unable to move. I wasn't conscious of all this stuff, so I was basically kind of dead, you know, and my immediate thoughts were it'd be fine to have like stayed gone. I woke up in the hospital and was told the prognosis of, you know, spinal cord injury and the whole piece about, you know, you're going to lose all these vital functions and not going to be able to walk. And my immediate response, you know, was I wanted her to be able to like move on. She didn't sign up for this, and I didn't want to have any expectations of having her have to like adopt this new life. Her response was, "Okay, well, it's only been a few days. Let's give it a couple more. I'll think about it, you know." So yeah, she's funny.
$5 to get dried off. Come on.
Yeah, those are kind of the early thoughts I think of a lot of spinal cord injury. Yeah, you spend your whole life a certain way, and then in an instant, you know, it's completely changes. In one sense, I feel like I've already died. You know, there's 4 or 5 days of my life that are unaccounted for. I woke up in a hospital in a completely different scenario, like waking up to a bad dream or a nightmare. My life as I knew it in an instant was changed. That specific life was taken from me, you know? And I don't think I'll ever be able to go back to that life fully. So the way that I see it is I kind of died. Time heals everything if you stick around to let time do it. I'm really, I'm looking forward to see how it feels for me to think something and have it translate to my legs. That'd be pretty cool.
Daddy, I don't think your legs are that long.
Are that long?
Yeah.
This is why we don't show up places too early, man. The waiting thing.
I'm hungry.
Okay.
Yep, 5 minutes.
Mama,
Okay.
can you help?
Yes, what you need help with?
I need help.
Okay, here, let's come sit over here and then I'll find a place to hold you. Yeah.
I need you to help.
Hello, officially.
Hey,
Megan.
how's it going, Megan?
How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah,
How's the trip been so far?
pretty long. Yeah, driving over, I don't know, I think we like saw 1,700 miles in our head and thought, you know, we've done that before. Well, of course we did that in our 20s when it was like, way faster.
That's pretty cool. Dad's gonna be up in there soon.
But now in our 40s with kids and stuff,
Kids in tow.
they did excellent though.
What do you think about running on it?
I don't know that that's gonna happen. I don't think they let you just like go wild and run where. Look it, there's somebody using it now.
So the other thing I'm gonna do is grab a pair of pants for you to probably change into, but they've got snaps on the sides. They're very excited. Yes, they're very fashionable snap breakaway pants that everyone gets to wear. So they'll be yours. And it's just so we can get to where the electrodes go easily,
Okay.
especially when the robot's on. So otherwise, it's a little tricky to get there.
Thanks. You're making fun of my socks already?
Oh, I like them.
Jeez, man. Yes, that's the same.
Feels the same? Can you feel this?
Do you
Same.
see that they're trying to figure out exactly where Dad can feel?
No.
Because all wrapped around his legs, they want to see where the
Can you
nerves,
feel this?
No.
which parts he can feel and which parts he can't.
Can you feel this?
It's diminished.
Can you feel that?
No.
At the end of 12 weeks, they'll say, okay, now can you feel more, you know,
The guy come out. Yeah, that's right.
When we do the walking test, it'll be before you do any walking and how whenever we do it.
Okay. I'm just gonna.
So if you need to take breaks at any point, let me know. Get 2 minutes or 20 seconds in. The next thing we're going to be doing is getting all of it fit to him. We're going to be probably up on that treadmill over on the left. So a lot more of this going through. But all right, so go ahead and have you step in with your left foot. Good. Okay.
Oh, I've been waiting for this moment to put these white shoes on.
Everyone's favorite, but they're surprisingly comfortable, is what I've been told.
That's funny. What a nice. That's a funny joke. You're so funny. I get where you're going with that. That wasn't just a paralysis joke.
No. I leave those for the patients.
Here it is. Becoming a reality. It's kind of cool. Had this in my head for a few weeks since my accident. I knew that this thing was that it was a possibility, and now, yeah, it's happening. It's becoming a reality. So that's pretty cool.
yeah, I'm stoked. It's super cool. I'm just, yeah, I'm really curious what can come of it.
Hi, buddy. Oh, I don't want to sweat on you.
You're fine. Do you want a washcloth?
Laura, do you have or does somebody? Yeah, if you don't mind.
All right. That was good. So everything was getting good signals. And your glutes are there, especially on the right. We are targeting glute max, and that is more than likely where that signal is coming from.
Okay.
The robot is trying to train those signals for you to be able to use outside of it.
Is that it?
Hi, babe. If you hug me, you're gonna get soaked. It's so gross. You're gonna wash your hands.
Our family has a pants.
What did you say, honey?
Look at our pants.
Oh, they're matching, kind of. That's so cool. You got diamonds and I've got stripes.
Well, we're talking about food. These dang people have had food on the mind the whole time.
What about the beach? Yeah.
We'll see about the
Mommy,
beach.
food first.
Food first.
Beach second.
So today was my first day on HAL using the Cyberdyne technology. It's been sort of a, I don't know, long journey getting here. When I was first injured about a year and a half ago, the doc that was assigned to me, he gave me two main pieces of advice. I remember him saying one was watch your skin, is with you can't feel anything, you gotta, skin breakdown's a big issue.
I remember the wave. You did.
But the other thing he said was make sure you can check these guys out at Cyberdyne. He had evidently attended a conference and saw some really cool and promising stuff. So that seed was kind of planted in my head back then. I've called several times trying to see if I would be a good fit for the program. This just felt cumbersome, I guess is really the only word I can use. And we'll see how that goes along, I think it's on purpose. Maybe it's not supposed to be smooth right off the bat. I think I'm gonna have to, I got quite a bit of learning to do to adjust to the suit, and today was just a fitting and kind of like a quick diagnosis, but it's cool to be here. It's cool to be here, and it's cool to meet other people that are staying in the same place, that are going through the same program, and to hear how things have been going for them. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it and hoping to be surprised.
Papa, can you feel this?
A little bit.
Can you feel this?
Yeah, so just about every morning I always try to move my feet. I think I can
Move, Papa.
will my feet to move, so I'll try to move my toe down.
Your toe moved a little bit up just like a second ago.
It's not really going anywhere. Alright, I'll try to push my foot down like I'm pushing a gas pedal. It's just so funny to see my foot sit there and do nothing. Alright, I'll pull it up. Like I'm taking it off.
Daddy, Daddy, it twitched.
No, that was random.
But it twitched. It still did.
Yeah, it
Daddy, it's so still that it seems like a statue.
did. A statue?
Is this thing on? Okay. All right. This crew is rolling down to Walgreens to get supplies for Jason to perform a ingrown toenail surgery. And there is actual thunder happening. So if this goes terribly wrong, no one can say we didn't get the foreshadowing memo. Okay, I'll see what he needs. We're super easily sidetracked.
Oh my gosh.
The door's only right there. We just came inside.
Misting fan. Oh my gosh, it's a misting fan. We need to get it.
Let's put
So
it
you
on.
can spray yourself with water
the
while you're
wish-
fanning yourself.
Let's put it on the wish list and think about it.
Let's find Dad, quick, before he makes a rash decision.
Ingrown toenail pain reliever.
Yeah,
I can't feel any pain.
yeah, I'm good on that front.
More fans.
Like, they're really good.
Are they? This is what
It
you
feels
get
so
Montana
good.
kids spending time in Florida.
Daddy, feel this.
Okay, let's go perform this surgery.
forward. Like this is probably going to teach me to go forward with more control, you know, and better foot placement. But this is.
So is that the result of extra, like just building strength over the past several weeks that he's able to, or is it?
Those signals are getting stronger.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
It's hard to know exactly what is happening.
But something like you can read a very clear difference between when he started and now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is great. I actually feel like I'm getting a little stressed out too.
If I would have died at 40 years old, well, who would have had a better life? Me or the person who died at 90 but did the same thing every day?
You.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's like super important to do different things in your life and meet different people.
Can I be close to you?
Enjoy your life so that you can make those memories and so that you can reflect on those memories and have them. You know, I can close my eyes right now and I can think about all the miles that we put on, you know, on the Pacific Crest Trail, and I can still smell those trees and the pines and the Jeffrey pine cones that we used to fling at each other like footballs, and the games that we played, the people that we met, the freezing cold rivers that we swam in.
The feelings never told.
I can close my eyes and I can take myself back to those places. And that's why it's important for you guys. You're just at the beginning of your journey. So you guys absolutely need to make a priority to do different things, even things that you're not like super comfortable with, so that you can make those memories in your head and then you'll always have them.
Can I be close to you?
Okay, here we go.
How are you liking these breakaway pants?
Pretty sweet.
Making a comeback.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you Stan to protect your identity today. Hey, Stan. So I keep moving my head to the side because I don't want to breathe on you.
You're fine. Working in a hospital for 7+ years, I have quite the immune system.
Good job. Good for you. You've gotten all the colds already.
I don't know about all of them.
My PT hug. So nice.
Your robot PT hug.
Yeah. Looking good over there, Stan.
Just cruising. Hey, I had a great weekend. Oh man, Kate drilled it. I'm loving it now.
Okay, this is fun. This is fun. This is fun. This is fun. I'm thinking, don't lean too far forward. Don't lean too far backwards. I'm thinking, good placement of my foot in front of me, but don't keep my stride length too long. Good placement of my foot in front of me, shift weight over the stance leg. Don't twist. Nice long extension at the legs. So that's all the stuff I'm thinking. So those are the kind of like the mechanics of trying to relearn to do this correctly instead of compensating. This whole thing's gotten a lot better. I mean, the first week or two maybe is very clunky trying to learn the robot and I don't know, tweak settings. I was bashing my ankles, you know, together. So I told you all the stuff I'm thinking about. But as I tried to fix one thing, you know, another thing would come in and just frustrate me. And like at this point, things have smoothed out quite a bit. And it makes it like a little bit more of a joy to be here. But at first, yeah, it was certainly like trying to learn how to do this stuff was mentally frustrating.
Really shift on that right side too.
So my kid draws a cartoon the other day, and you know, he shows it to us. And it was kind of cool because my kids draw me in a wheelchair. You know, yeah. They never draw me walking or standing or whatever. It's just, I'm in a wheelchair. But then I also use the crutches too, right? So, well, this time he drew me up on the crutches, except for I was only on one crutch. But he didn't say anything about it, you know? Actually, my wife noticed it. He's like, hey, Dad's only on one crutch. And I was like, cool, man. So I got to thinking about that. I was like, you know what? It is one of my goals, you know, progression. So I've been working on walking with one hand down on the parallel bar. I'm kind of picking up on some of that. I think it's smoothing out a little bit. But anyhow, that's kind of exciting. It's, I don't know, one of my goals I'm working on. It's kind of encouraging that their head is there. You know, that they just don't see their dad. Just, so here's another funny thing, right? Sometimes people that I know, I ask them, hey, do you remember when I wasn't in a chair? And a lot of people have a long pause because they want to be honest, but they're like, actually, I can't. It's like, this is the new you. Like, this is the new you that we're used to. And like the you that was upright and moving and climbing and, you know, doing all of the things I did. That I think is a sad part, is to say, you know, what is your memory of me, you know? And, you know, the new memory is this, a person in a wheelchair, which is fine. But, you know, when you've lived 40 some years, an active life and, you know, and doing all those things, it's like, well, what is your impression of me in your mind?
How you feeling?
I could probably take a break.
5 seconds and then take a rest.
Okay. Thank you. You're shooting for the past. You're shooting for history, right? You're shooting for this thing that you were before the accident, right? You're not ever going to get there, you know? There's not a day that I don't think about being in a chair.
All right, so backwards?
Backwards. Every day I do think about, this is not normal for me, you know what I mean? That, like, when I think of me as a person, I think of me able-bodied, you know? And like, this just seems like there's absolutely zero wrong with being in a chair. And being in a chair is actually, like I say, for me, it's an interesting experience.
No problem. Go for it, man.
You know, I've lived 40 some years of my life the same way, with the same perspective, the same lens of using my body to the fullest, you know? And then to have half of my body stop working, it's like, huh, interesting. And it's a new perspective. And essentially, for me, it kicked me out of what I would call like autopilot, you know? It like overnight, almost like a gift. I mean, almost, it just said, here's a new perspective for you. You've had 40 years living the way that you lived, and now you get to have this new like shake-up in your life.
Sometimes there's some interesting odors wafting through here.
That you now ask more philosophical questions. You're more open to new things. Your relationships are maybe like deeper than they ever were. You know what I mean? Your desires and goals are completely different than they were before. So I mean, in a sense, that's pretty good.
Still getting them. They're a little bit smaller. Could be that could also somewhat be that you're not feeling 100%, or you're not 100% as far as, even though you're feeling okay.
Yeah.
Sort of. Your body's telling you otherwise.
Yeah. My body's giving me the middle finger.
But I mean, I think you're doing awesome, especially for being a little sick. So.
Ain't nothing but a thing.
So when we do the boardwalk,
It's your thing.
just be careful of your tips.
Do what you want to do. Okay, like no tripping.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to stay on the edge of what is comfortable. This is my edge right now. You know, this is like what's uncomfortable for me. You know, when you're first injured, you know, that's the big visible thing, right? I can't walk, you know? That's all you really react to, you know, is like, I'm gonna walk again, you know? And it's a big drive. But what you realize very quickly is that your goal set changes. My kid had a dream that I was only gonna use one crutch, so I'm working on his dream right now. Let's see, I could probably get the door.
Well, let's not get wild.
But what if I hang on to it and use it as...
Well, it moves.
You nervous?
It's just like, please don't try and swing on this door. Because you 100% would.
That was a nice little walk through the park. There we are, back to home base. Tag. Back to the mothership. Okay, fire away. You know, you have the cliche, you'll never walk again. Well, statistically, you probably won't, right? Oh, that's a heavy ball. Thanks for the warning. But my thing isn't to like try to disprove a doctor's statement. The reason that I do this is because of its correlation to like gains and those other big ticket items, right? Bowel bladder, sexual function, and to keep my bone density high so that if something ever does come along that's able to fix us or repair the cord, that I would be ready to do that, you know? If I keep my body fit, I would be a good candidate. But all these other things become a huge issue. And I think that a lot of people, even doctors, even like spinal docs and researchers, right? They're in that same category. They see somebody in a wheelchair and they basically think, oh, sucks, that guy can't walk, you know? I mean, that must be the main problem, is that guy, it's a walking problem. Well, yes, it is, obviously. But there's so much more behind the scenes. I mean, yeah, it's a huge list. It's like an inspirational story. The guy gets up and walks again, and it's what people want. But on the inside, the real story is that you're falling apart physically, you know? Yeah, shortened lifespan, you know, your immune system, you know, starts to drop. You know, there's some correlation with like mental ability starting to like diminish. It's just, there's so many things that come along with it that, I don't know. I hope they can fix it, you know, for all those reasons. And then obviously walking would be great. Okay, this is what's happening now, you know? And be here for it, be present for it. Sometimes when I close my eyes, I'm thinking about walking on a trail or someplace I've walked before. Cyberdyne has been like a really good therapy. It allows somebody with a spinal cord injury to get into this exoskeleton and to get this repetition of steps over and over and over and over and over, with the idea that the brain down and the muscle back signals would try to somehow make contact through scar tissue. I don't think anything feels jumpy.
I came down because I left my cup down here and I was getting ready to leave. And he's here from about 9:30 to almost 5 o'clock most days. And he's walking in and I look at him and I go, well, that looks really smooth. And he goes, dude, I can't feel them, but I can feel them. He's like, they're like tingling. And it's only when I'm walking, like when I'm up and moving. He goes, and it's happened like 5 times today or 4 times today. He goes, and it's only when I'm up and I'm walking. It's almost like they were asleep, but he could tell they were asleep.
Me and the robot, we go back and forth. We have this fickle relationship. Too much yapping. You're gonna try to shut me up by not letting me breathe. It's the whole neuro rehab thing is
working a ton and being a little.
Twist on that, right?
Don't twist, don't twist.
There's a lot of things that I would love to be able to do.
People have high expectations, but they also have realistic expectations. I feel like by the time they end their 60 sessions that they go through, most people feel like they've met what they came here for, that it helped them get to that next level of what they wanted.
Jazz flute, watch out. This is good strutting music.
Oh yeah.
Oh, why couldn't this been on when I was walking?
We've noticed a lot of people after using the device start noticing improved sensation, decreased pain, decreased spasticity, and improved continence of the bowel and bladder. So there's a lot of extra things that we look at beyond just walking.
Yeah, but I don't have any abductors.
Some people's goals are to walk out of here without needing any assistance. Other people just want to be able to transfer better, just to get enough strength so that they can get in a bed more easily, but they're not planning on walking all day long.
Your abductors are not what's causing that.
Right, it's the lack of abductors that's causing it.
Lack of abductors.
I agree with you. Okay. That's it, man.
Nice job.
Thanks. Yeah, this is an experience right here. These things are made of actual glue, like actual glue.
He takes his own off for
Yeah, see, that's hair.
Yeah.
It's your choice not to shave.
I would take away my Montana card. There'd be no way. They would not let me back in that state.
It's true.
I don't know, it's important, I think, for me to be able to kind of broadcast that idea and say, hey, look, this could happen to you just as easy. Like, let's try to get behind it and solve this problem,
Every time I do this, I hope I don't fall on my ass, but I haven't actually fallen yet since I've been on these, but it's always a fear. Thanks. Se necesita poco de gracia. All right.
For every human being that has a spinal cord, all it takes is a misstep or a fall from a roof or, on your bike or in your car or just a drive to work. That's all it takes, for there to be new entrants into this community. Something I plan to do is to try to become an advocate of some sort, because it can happen to any of us, right? I think before I was injured, I would see somebody in a wheelchair, and for me, it was just a category of person, right? I was unaware or maybe didn't care or whatever the case, that this person has a story, and maybe they weren't always in that chair. I don't know, but it was basically just a category of person. And then having been in a chair myself and see people not so much like staring at you as what a person might think could be the issue, but it's the opposite. It's turning away.
With spinal cord injury, you'll never be whole. You'll never be back to normal like the day before you changed. But it's a game of picking up the pieces. It's, trying to gather up what you can. And this is an attempt for me to do some of that gathering, to just try to sweep up the crumbs of what's broken and see how much I can collect of my old self and how much of that physical normal that I can get back. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm hopeful, but I'm also being cautious in my expectations and in my hopes.
Jason and I long distance hiked back in our 20s. We followed the philosophy of this kind of quirky, lightweight backpacker man named Ray Jardine. And he said something to the effect of, if we're paying attention in the woods, we can't be bored. I mean, the woods are plumb alive if we know something about them. And then while we were hiking, we also met this young couple, and they were just starting a family, and they said, we can't force our kids to love the woods, but we want them to have enough exposure to it that they're not afraid. And those two things, overcoming boredness and fear, those have become very relevant as we've helped our family navigate paraplegia. Now this whole other world has opened up to us, and it has been honestly a gift. We've lived in rehab hospitals for a few months at a whack, a couple different times since Jason's accident. And all of us have gotten to know people who are living in these intense experiences, and to be able to engage with people without boredom or fear. We've gotten to practice that in the rehab hospitals. And man, we've just bumped into the most exquisite demonstrations of tenderness and vulnerability and camaraderie. My parents have a hope and prayer for, all of their kids, me and our families, and that at any given time will be where we can receive what we need to receive and give what we need to give. And that was our experience with the rehab hospitals, just the privilege of giving and receiving, even if it's just 1 iota. Okay, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do 10 jumping jacks. Just that's all I'm gonna do. But of course the secret is that 1 iota gives you energy for the next iota, which might be doing a sink load of dishes. And then the next iota is calling the insurance company to figure out why they're not covering something. But 1 iota at a time.
But our heart is in the mountains, and always has been. So we purchased some property there, and the plan now is to build a cabin.
6:45 in the morning. We're starting to get concrete poured. Though this isn't the start of our home project, it feels like a pretty big deal. Pouring of the foundation. Yeah!
The place that we purchased overlooks the Whitefish Range, which is just one range over from Glacier National Park. I just want to build a deck to play music and drink wine and have friends over and just look at the mountains. So a house has to be attached to that. But really the important thing is to be able to sit there and take that all in. So that's on the agenda.
One of my mantra words has become, over this whole process, simply good. Honestly, it's a little sarcastic the first time around. Like, you're coming at me with this new challenge, new thing we can't do, whatever, fine, good, grrr, bring it. And that word and sort of that posture lets me tap into anger, which I don't normally take pains to do. But I've come to think now of anger as actually deep grief and loss.
Oh my goodness.
And after I acknowledge that and let that be, then I can say good again in the quiet way. Like, what can I find here that's good?
The dead body. Daddy, get out of there, please. You're making me scared.
I really would like to get involved in advocacy of some sort to try to promote awareness of spinal cord injury and legislation and funding, and try to be aware of what research is already going on. So for me right now, it's very important to take a breath and look around and see everything that's around me and hear and breathe and be here for this life. Because it's a gift. We're only here once, and I think it's important to show up and be present for it.